Kelly, I have an important question for you. Are you a root beer or birch beer guy?
Birch beer.
Birch beer? Personally, I swing both ways.
Mm.
Tonight, we're gonna talk about Arcade1Up at CES and their new cabinets that they introduced there that are getting quite a few reactions from people. I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything, and joining me as always.
Hi, everybody. This is Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. And if you have a moment, we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the Bog Panda YouTube channel. It'll help us out a lot. Get a chance, cruise through a few of the videos. Believe it or not, there's a few videos on Doom you could watch. If that's something you like, we're the place you should stop because we talk
I've
about that.
heard.
Doom, Alice Cooper, these are two streams of content we've got you covered on. But give a video a like to, leave us a comment, uh, and maybe check our merchandise store out.
Yeah, it's funny because like the Alice Cooper thing was a conscious decision on our part. I don't think we set out to be like the Doom guys,
No,
but it seems to slowly be happening.
it just seems to come back again and again.
And just in case anybody's curious, it's birch beer tonight. Did you ever have a birch beer float?
No, I can't say that I have.
Yeah, so recently I had a birch beer float for the first time. We stopped somewhere for lunch, and I've obviously had root beer floats because, I'm an American and I love my country. But a birch beer float, something I never had, and they offered those. They was pretty good. I was surprised. I don't know why I would never have tried that previously, but it was good.
Hmm.
That's Arcade1Up at CES. Good night, guys.
Hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah. So CES, of course, is going on Arcade1Up. People are excited to see their new wares that they would be offering, and it's just one. It's just one new wear, and then a bunch of redesigned stuff. We'll start with the good. There is the redesigned Infinity Games table, which is now smaller, so it's just kind of a large tablet now that comes preloaded with 50 games, which is a lot. As a few places have pointed out, though, the price tag is still kind of steep. It's going to be $500. What are your
which
thoughts on
is a
this?
hundred, which is $100 more than the at games pinballs currently running at Sam's. Sam's has run a cut, at least in a lot of Sam's across the country.
Mm.
They've run a cut on the price, and the at games Legends pinball is now at $400 at your local Sam's.
So,
This
do
is
you see yourself putting out 500 for the
no,
Infinity Games? No.
no. I think they absolutely solved some form factor issues for me because it's like, okay, so this is now, you know, it's not an iPad you're sitting in the middle of the table and everybody's playing games. It's bigger than that. It's got a good size to it. It's not as big as the Infinity table, but it gets away from the whole issue of the legs and the power for it and all that. Because my guess is you just charge this bad boy up, put it on the table, enjoy your game night, and then charge it up later. So I think it's a good play in terms of a great way to have some fun and to get a group of folks over and do some pretty cool games on all that. But that price point's brutal. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than the Infinity Games table. And like you said, I also agree that it solves some of the issues with it for me. I mean, the Infinity Games table looks really cool, but it is essentially a piece of furniture. And it is, it's not furniture you can actually use as furniture, though, because you don't want to put things on there. You're going to have cords running out of it. Like you said, it's not practical furniture. So this is something that, meets in the middle. It's bigger than the tablet, like you said, but doesn't take up the same footprint the Infinity Games table does. And $500 is cheaper. And I think this is one of those things for me that's going to fall into the same category as the Kodak photo booth. The Kodak photo booth is also priced really high. It's a big tablet with a photo printer and Polaroid photo. I'm sorry, the Polaroid photo booth. That's a Kodak Polaroid photo booth. It's a big tablet with a Polaroid photo printer. Polaroid photo printers are expensive. Those two things, if you bought them on their own, probably equal out to about that. Same thing with this. It's kind of an oversized version of a tablet. It does come preloaded with 50 games. So if you break that down to what the cost per game is, it's probably not that bad. I'm still probably not going to drop $500 on it though. It still just seems too steep for me.
Nope. Nope. And when you can play old school Hungry Hippos, how important is it to be able to play digital Hungry Hippos?
Yeah, I don't know why that's the one they're pushing in all the promo material. That doesn't. Yeah,
I
that's
don't know what audience that pulls in.
yeah, that's. I don't know that that's the one that's moving units, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
that hits your 6-year-old market great, but most of the 6-year-olds aren't forking out 500
I just
bucks.
got to say, yeah, go up to a 6-year-old and be like, "Hey, you got $500 on you?"
You could play
Yeah.
Hungry Hippos on that or this.
The other thing that was introduced is their first Casinocade. So for all of our gambling addicts out there, you can now have a casino in your home. It is Wheel of Fortune branded, which at first I didn't like, but looking at the pictures, it's kind of grown on me once I saw the actual videos and things, not just the mock-ups that they had on the website. But it does come preloaded with 25 different casino games. So mostly slot machines and then a few card games and things like video poker style stuff. So what are your thoughts on this, sir? Just the idea of the Casinocade and
Well,
then this particular edition.
yeah. Well, I'm well known in Las Vegas. They often, Las Vegas will talk about the whales that'll come in. And they always treat them really well. Well, I'm known as, a penny slot trout. So it's like when this guy comes in, he's going to spend $40 on the penny slots, and so he's a guy we're going to pay attention to. So I enjoy the slot machines in Vegas in terms of the entertainment factor because I really don't even consider that gambling. That's just I'm entertaining myself. I bought a ticket for $40 to entertain myself for the evening, and I'll probably walk out with my ticket gone. That's just fine by me.
You'll walk out with your evening filled.
That's right. I'm all good. Someone will occasionally stop by and offer me a birch beer, so it's a pretty cool deal. And so I enjoy the video slot games quite a bit. There's super creative ones that are out there. Wheel of Fortune game itself, there's a lot of variants out there. There is one, and it's still there at the Casino Royale, which is actually it's almost like a life-size Wheel of Fortune wheel, and it goes around, and you have your individual stations to play it as well. This is not what Arcade1Up is offering,
No.
but they have for more the stand-up version that you can get in, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I was really excited to hear that it had other games other than Wheel of Fortune on it, but they're actually kind of more, at least from what I can tell, Wheel of Fortune variants. So it's like these are slightly different on the slot machine side, and then they include a bunch of other games as well that are more touchscreen almost, in terms of that. And so I think it's kind of a cool idea that if you're building a home arcade, to have a slot machine where you're not actually emptying your wallet to play. It's kind of fun. It's somewhat mindless fun. I'm good with that on occasion. I think their execution looks pretty good because unlike any past Arcade1Up cabinet, major parts of this cabinet light up beyond just in the marquee. And I think they've captured the gameplay esque of a Vegas video slot machine pretty well. And so I kind of like the idea. I haven't had a chance yet with my Legends Ultimate because I've been looking to say, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to throw a couple video slot experiences up on it. So I've got to have to see how that would all go for me. But I mean, it looks to me like a pretty well executed thing. A little bit narrowcast to, the Wheel of Fortune, but I mean, part of the allure of these things is they really tie into that theme hard, and you get the wheel and all these other things there. So it looks like a good execution and pretty intriguing to me.
Yeah, I didn't really think about a video slot kind of situation until now. I do like it though. Like I think it's an interesting thing to have. I'm not a gambler. I've been to Vegas and Atlantic City numerous times, and I'll sit and play a couple of video poker or slot machines or whatever. And I do think that this would be fun to have. Like I think this is something that people will go up to and play with and have some fun with. So I think it could be cool. I really, honestly, what really didn't sell me at first is the Wheel of Fortune branding on it. Like I know that's a big brand, but like I that wouldn't be my first go-to as far as it goes. But I guess it does make sense. And then it looks better in the actual videos than the mock-up did, which I think is a good thing. Um, plus you have the dual screens. It is a touch screen for the card games and things like that. So, and it does have 25 games on there total. So there is some variety. It's not just Wheel of Fortune on there. So that's good too. I'm kind of curious to see how it does. I want to see what the price point is.
Yeah.
It's not something I would buy at full price, no matter where it comes in price point wise. But if I can get it at a decent price, I could see adding that. And like you said, it is narrow, so I could probably fit it in somewhere and kind of make that work since it is that slot machine kind of form factor. I'm curious to see where they go with this because then it opens up the door. Well, if this does well and there's other video poker, video slot machine kind of things, how many of those do you really need for your house? This isn't like game cabinets kind of thing. Like I feel like there's a narrower market for this. Maybe I'm wrong though.
Yeah, I mean, unless your goal is I want my basement to feel like a casino floor, you can take all the clocks down, put a really bad carpet
Dark
down,
lighting, yeah, like bad carpet.
and have somebody walk through offering drinks, and you're good. If that's the experience you're wanting to go for, you could do that. But yeah, I think as kind of a change of pace and a novelty thing, it'd be pretty cool that way. I did, Wheel of Fortune in terms of gameplay for video slot machine. It's good. It's a good, fun experience because it's like, oh, I get to this level and the wheel spins and there's chances, and so it's kind of a cool form factor for there. But there are just so many other licensed IP slot machines out there that would, to me, be much more tailor made for the home arcade enthusiast. Like, oh, I don't know, Sharknado. There's a fantastic Sharknado slot machine that would have made a ton of sense for me. There's a Walking Dead one. There's a Game of Thrones. And all of those would be a really good Wizard of Oz. But I'm thinking more like the Walking Dead, Breaking Bad. There's a Breaking Bad one. So a lot of fun stuff out there.
There's
But
video
this
game
is
ones.
what,
There's even the Castlevania slot machine, things like that.
yeah. So it'd been kind of cool to maybe tie it either back to some retro arcade stuff or some of these other interesting properties. But this is a really solid slot experience. Looks like they've done a pretty good job on it. The two screens is pretty cool. Form factor is good. Price will be key on there because it'll be interesting to see where it lands in terms of that because it's just another one there. But yeah, I thought that one was actually interesting and different, unlike a
Yeah.
redesigned infinity table, which looked cool still, but it was like different form factor.
Yeah. And that's more of what you get after that. So there's few arcade cabinets that they announced, but they are just redesigns of existing cabinets. So one is a reissue of the Mortal Kombat 2 style cabinet with the Mortal Kombat 2 artwork on there. Only it has a slightly different marquee because that didn't originally have a light up marquee. So it has a light up marquee and doesn't use a riser. It's just one piece. Well, you still put it together, but the sides are just one piece with no riser to get the full normal height of them if you had it on a riser. Also, some Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and Galaga reissues. Again, no new games on these, just slightly different marquees, slightly different form factors for the cabinet, and people seem pretty upset about that.
Yeah, they changed the angle on the screen a little bit to be
Yeah,
more
for the
arcade
for
like.
the for the Pac-Man games, the screens are angled much more dramatically, similar to the original, which I guess is cool. But I don't know if I own, so I don't own any of the Pac-Man cabinets. So it's not like I'd be rebuying it, but like that's not going to be the difference. Like if I owned one already, I'm not going to rebuy it for that personally.
Yeah, and I love the little short video that they kind of had on it because much like in the 80s, if there was a movie that featured people doing aerobics, young ladies doing aerobics, where the camera would pan and then dwell at a certain point, on the slot machine on the Ms. Pac-Man. It scans down the Ms. Pac-Man and then centers in on that coin slot. It's just because
Yeah,
we know
that's
that's the thing, man. A lot of
they
people
all,
also
yeah, they did push that too. They all have faux coin doors, which again, why is this the thing?
I don't get it.
Wheel of Fortune doesn't have one though, does it?
I don't think
Now
so,
that I
which is
think about it,
odd
yeah.
for what it is.
Yeah, you would think of all of them, the one that would have some sort of faux money situation going, it'd be that. And it doesn't.
Or not faux, because it seems like, if you're buying these things, it might be a good way to generate some income back. Is, oh,
Yeah,
yeah, you do have to pay for that slot machine.
that's $5 to play Wheel of Fortune.
There you go. Fired in there. So that would be the good aftermarket thing to make, is an actual uh, game initiating functional coin slot / dollar bill slot for the.
I had a small like countertop slot machine that took real quarters that you had to put into it to play. Unfortunately, the build quality wasn't that great, and eventually it just kind of stopped working. Um, I don't know. I am curious. I don't know if I would pull the trigger on it, but I'm curious for the Wheel of Fortune. Out of all these products, which one would be the most interesting to you?
So I think probably the Wheel of Fortune. So I mean, if it was at a different price, the Infinity Table would be. I'd have a lot more interest in it, but I have like zero interest at $500. Like, can't
Yeah.
not
What's the
express
right
lack
price
of
point for you for that?
$200. I think
Really?
probably.
Too. See, I would go as high as probably three.
I could be convinced, but 250. We'll split the difference. 250. You go Arcade1Up. That's where you need to price it. 250, and you'll get Mike and I to get a copy. If you don't send us, free copy for us to try out and talk
Right.
about, then boy, are we gonna say, is it worth every dollar?
I'd pay $800 for
I
that.
would. This is a steal. But yeah, I do like the slot machine, but I would have needed to do my due diligence and kind of say, so what kind of environment can I set up with bring your own game on the At Games Legend and some other things there to say, can I kind of have a pretty cool slot experience without forking over another money for another cabinet. But I think it's the most intriguing and different. The enhancements to the existing cabinets, I've really not been super, interested at this point. You're going a different route in terms of what you're trying to do. So,
Mm.
so those cabinets have been interesting, but that's not really lighting me up. So I'd say definitely the Wheel of Fortune one's the most interesting one. And if the Infinity Table's at a different price point, I'd be interested as well. How about you?
Wheel of Fortune would be the one that I'd be interested in. The price point for Infinity Games Table is still just, for me, not going to make that happen. The redesigned cabinets, no interest. Super happy with my Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary. It does use a riser. The riser is really cool though. It's Mortal Kombat branded. The cabinet itself is Mortal Kombat 1, which is what I originally wanted. The one that I had purchased that they put out for their first Mortal Kombat cabinet was the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet. This is essentially a reissue of that with some extra games on it. Similar to the 30th anniversary as far as the games go. It does have the recessed monitor, but so does mine. So does the 30th anniversary. So the only change is that it's one piece as opposed to having the riser. But I like the riser on it, so I'm fine. And the Pac-Man ones, I like Pac-Man, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I'm enough of a Pac-Man fan to buy a Pac-Man cabinet.
Yeah, I might the bar top, the kind of where you get folks sitting on either side of the or tabletop kind of thing. That's
Mm.
pretty cool execution of Pac-Man and Galaga too. Both of those are pretty cool. That form factor maybe, but just as the standard Pac-Man arcade, it is cool, it's fun, but it better pack a lot of other options on it as well. And it's a little bit tough because if it's a joystick only cabinet, and
Right.
so the number of games that are a joystick only are a little limited, particularly like the 4 position that Pac-Man requires. So I don't know so much about that. So cool. Well, we just wanted to kind of share our thoughts on what we've seen there, reflect the thoughts of some others out there, which is not not particularly a strong amount of enthusiasm. Interested in what your thoughts are, folks. So let us know in the comments if you're fired up about these, or if there's one you like in particular, or you're kind of with us and it's like, yeah, okay.
Bog Panda.